So this is the object-oriented programming sort of master challenge where we're going to build a complete application using and understanding, hopefully, all the principles of object-oriented programming that we've learned in the last two sections. So I'm going to type out now what we're actually going to be working on. Okay, so this is the first part of the challenge. I'm going to actually type it and then discuss it point by point because there is still more to this to come. So the purpose of the application is to help a fictitious company called Bill's Burgers to manage their process of selling hamburgers. So the application is going to help Bill to select the type of burgers and some of the additional items or additions that can be added to the burgers, as well as the actual pricing. So we want to create a base hamburger, but we also want to add two other types of hamburgers that are popular ones in Bill's store. We'll be talking about those in the next section. So the basic hamburger should have the following items. Should have the bread roll type, the meat, that's meant to say meat there, and up to 4 additions. So these are additional things like lettuce, tomato, and carrot that the customer can select to a particular burger. So each of these items that do get selected and added are actually charged an additional price. So you need to find some way to track how many of these items got added and to calculate the price both for the base hamburger and all those additions. So the burger itself has got a base price, like the base hamburger, but then all the additions that are added are actually each have their own additional price over and above that. So what you'll want to do is create a hamburger class to deal with all of the above, and the constructor should only include the roll type, the type of roll that's used with the hamburger, the meat, and the price. So you'll be needing to create methods to do these other things like add these additional items. Now in addition to that, there's also some extra functionality, so I'm going to type that out now. Okay, so the other functionality that we actually need in this application, we also need to create 2 extra varieties of hamburgers, which are essentially classes. And they're going to cater for, firstly, the first one, A, is the healthy burger. So this is a burger that is actually sold only on a brown rye bread roll. And plus, because it's a healthy burger, there's 2 additional items that can be added to that. So in other words, the healthy burger can have a total of 6 items or additions in total for that class. And that's 4 from the base class and then 2 that can be added to the healthy burger. So you probably want to process the 2 additional items in this new healthy burger class and not the base class, since the 2 additions are only appropriate for the healthy burger. So it wouldn't make sense for you to allow 6 items in the base class because those types of burgers aren't allowed to have those 6 items. And the second type of burger is the deluxe hamburger. Now that comes with chips and drinks as additions, but no extra additions are allowed. So you need to find a way to automatically add these 2 new additions at the time the deluxe burger object is created, but then also to prevent the other additions being made because they're sold as a package and that package cannot be modified. Now all 3 classes should have a method that can be called anytime to show the base price of the hamburger plus all the additions, and each showing the addition name and the addition price, because you should be tracking both of those, and also having a grand total for the burger. Now for the 2 additional classes, this may require you to be looking at the base class for pricing and then adding some pricing or adding totals onto that as well. So that's the challenge. I hope that makes sense, and it's a little bit bigger than the ones that we've done before in that there's not necessarily a lot of code, but there's some design decisions in here that you need to think about. So you probably want to spend a bit of time, writing it on a piece of paper, or certainly thinking about it, how this is going to, play out. What should be in that base hamburger class, what fields should be in there, but also what methods. But likewise for the 2 additional types, the healthy burger and the deluxe hamburger, what methods and fields should be in those as well. So go away and see what you can do to figure this out and create your application. And when you're ready to go, come back here and you can actually have a look and come up and see what my solution was. So pause the video now, go away and do that, and I'll see you when you get back. Okay, how did you get on? Did you figure out a solution? So let's go through now and create what my version of this code is, bearing in mind that with programming there's always a number of different ways that you can actually come up with a solution, but this is the solution I'm going to come up with. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create this basic hamburger class, which is dealing with this base information, the base additions and the base price and so forth. So I'm going to create a new class and call it hamburger. Okay, so that's our base class. So we're going to create a number of fields. We're going to start off with the name. We need to create the name that's going to be the name of the hamburger, the meat, the type of meat that we're adding to the hamburger. We're going to add a price, and then we're also going to add the roll type because we need to track that as well, the type of bread that's going to be used or the type of roll that's going to be used. So let's add those fields. So private string name, private string meat, private double. We use a double for the price. And we're also going to track that the actual type of bread as well. We'll call that bread roll type, like so. And we've also got some additional fields we need to add, but we'll create our constructor first. So our constructor is going to be comprised of 4 fields. Now I think I might have mentioned in our main, constructor should only include the roll type, meat and price. I didn't actually mention name in there. So if you haven't done that with your challenge, you might want to go back and add the name as well. So we want to also track the name. So that's our basic constructor. Now, the other fields that we actually want, we want to track those additions, because if you remember back here, we talked about having up to 4 additional items, things like lettuce, tomato, and carrot, and so on. So what we need to do is track those. We need to record the actual name and also record the price. So to do that, we're going to actually just create some more fields. So we're just going to call them private. Let's just keep it simple. First one will be addition. We'll call it addition 1 name, then private double addition 1 amount, or price would be better. So that's going to be the additional item that can be put on a hamburger, number 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'll just make those unique, number 2, number 3 and number 4, like so. Next, what we need to do is we need to have a mechanism to add those additions. So we need to create a method for each of the 4 additions, and therefore to enable the calling process to send the name and the price and for us to record that. So that's quite straightforward. We need to create a method, and we'll call it public void add. We'll say add hamburger addition 1. So that's going to send 2 parameters, which will be the name, the addition name, and then also the price, how much we're charging for that additional item. Then all we need to do is put this dot addition 1 name equals name. This dot addition 1 price equals price, like so. And that's literally all we need to do. We're just recording it. We're not doing any validation. You could perhaps in an ideal world actually look at doing that, but we won't do that now. Okay, next we're going to copy and paste the additional methods. And we'll just make them unique for number 2. Make sure that we're actually updating our number 2 methods, number 2 fields, I should say. 3, and then 4. So we're now got a mechanism now to add our 4 additions. So it's pretty straightforward, as you can see there. Now, really the only other thing we need to do at this point is we need to create a method that enables us to actually go through and actually add up the price of the hamburger. So what it should do is it should actually record or start with the base price, then go through and check whether we've actually received an additional item for each one of these 1, 2, 3, and 4, and if so, to add the price for that to the total. So what I'm going to do is create a method called itemize hamburger. We'll call it public. Now we're going to actually return double, and the double is going to be the total price of the hamburger, including all the additional items, if any. So we're going to call it itemize hamburger. Now what we need to do is, in order to do that, we're going to create a local variable called hamburger price. We're going to set that initially to this dot price. So that's the basic price for the hamburger that was passed to us in the constructor. So now what we need to do is we need to go through each of the 4 additions and determine whether there was an addition that was passed, and if so, to add that to the price. But what we'll also do is we'll just put a line of output here just to confirm what we're doing. So we're going to put the name. So this dot name of the hamburger plus on a, so there's type of bun, plus this dot bread roll type, and we'll just put the word roll after that, and we'll put plus price is plus this dot price, the price of the hamburger. So what that's showing at the moment is the basic, just really outputting the basic price for the hamburger. Okay, so next what we need to do is go through each of the components as I've mentioned and check to see whether they've been added, have been passed I should say, and if so, to actually add that to the price. So the way we can do that, we can put if this dot addition one name, if that's not equal to null, if it's not equal to null, what that means is that we have had something sent to us. So if that's the case, we're going to increment the hamburger price plus equals, and that will be this dot addition one price. So we're adding the price of that, the first additional item, because we've determined that there is one. Then what we're also going to do is we're going to actually output that as well. We're going to put added plus this dot addition one name plus for an extra this dot addition one price. So we're just going to output it to say that we've added the additional item and how much extra it was, and the previous line we've already tallied that up and we've actually added that to the overall price for the hamburger. So we now need to do that for the other three items, like so, and then we'll just change those, making sure that we're selecting the right items here. Additional 3. Scroll down a little bit so we can see what we're doing. And then the last one will be addition 4. Like so. So we've now gone through and tested number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So we've started on the base price, or with the base price for the hamburger, and we've actually added each of those additional items, putting some output to the screen to tell us what we've actually added, and we've added that to the overall price. So of course the last thing we really need to do now is just to return that price. We can do that with return hamburger price. So that's it. That's now our base hamburger class. Let's just write some code just to quickly check that it's doing what it should be doing. So we can go back to our main method. All right, I'm just going to make a bit of space here to get rid of all those comments which we don't need anymore. So a basic bit of code to test. We'll start with hamburger. Hamburger equals new hamburger. Hamburger. And let's start with, we'll just call it our basic. That's going to be the name we're assigning. The meat, let's call it sausage. The price, let's start on say $3.56, and the bread roll type, we'll just call it white, a white roll. So that's our base constructor. And what we can also then do, well actually what we'll do first, let's just output that. So what we're going to do is we're going to return the price. So double price equals hamburger dot itemize hamburger. That will return the price firstly, but also it will actually show us those outputs. So let's run that and actually just check that it is working. So we'll run it. And I'll just make a bit of space so we can see what we're doing. You can see basic hamburger on a white roll price is $3.56. So you can see basic on a white roll price is $3.56. So that's good. We didn't actually output the message for the type of meat, but we can do that shortly. And just to confirm that it is working, let's add a few items. So put hamburger dot add hamburger additional item 1, and we'll say that's tomato. And let's just say that was 27 cents, so 0.27. And we'll add another one, hamburger.add additional item 2, lettuce, 75 cents more. And then hamburger.add one more, let's say some cheese, $1.12. So we've added those 3 items. So let's go back here and calculate that again. This time I actually won't try and recreate the variable because we've already created it above. We run it. So we've now got it's outputting it twice, but the first time you can see it's putting the basic hamburger on a white roll, price is $3.56. Added tomato for an extra 27, which you can see there. Added lettuce for 75. Added cheese for an extra 12. And what we should probably do here is then put, let's change this to total burger price is, and we'll get rid of the variable there because we can actually just use that method there to call the method, and actually which it returns the result of the price anyway. So let's try running that. And we should be right. So just to make sure that that's working, let's just change that to $1.13. So it's not, so it's actually got the right decimal points. Later in this course, I'll show you how you can actually format these numbers so they come out correctly. So we've got $3.56 plus 27 plus 75 plus $1.13, $5.71 altogether. And just the other thing I said I would do, let's also change this. We'll put with this dot meat comma price is that, just so we're actually also recording or showing on the screen the type of meat to make sure that's working. You can see that's now working on the screen there with sausage prices $3.56 and added the tomato, etc. So we've got the basic component working now. We've got our basic hamburger working. I'm going to stop the video now because it's getting a bit long. In the next video, we'll come back and we'll actually look at the healthy burger and the deluxe burger and add those to our application. So I'll see you in that next video.